Welcome to Dunsmore Moving Dirt. We're on a next little old project here. We got moved in Saturday, and we got a couple little old things. We got some stubs on a kick some water in a waterway that's over there, where the equipment's parked. There's John Deere tractors and my pickup sitting over there. The tractors and stuff are the man that's got this lease. But what we're going to do down here, there's a waterway right up there going toward that barn and stuff, and it catches water and it dumps it into this pasture here that goes off into Beaver Creek. And that's okay, but it comes down all the way to here, and through this bottom there's little ridges and stuff where the water would get out years ago and make ridges through here. Well, instead of that water, when it comes out and goes through here and goes on to the creek over there, it's kind of made a slough here, and it stacks up and comes back into this field. And this field is pretty flat, but that's bad when you have a field so flat that it has a lot of drainage on it. The water stacks up, and then when it starts to go off, it's going to go right back into this creek. But it does it down at the end of them big heavy trees, and it's causing a wash. And down there where it dumps off into that creek, it's starting to work its way back up in the field. There's another waterway that the man leasing the place is working on. It dumps water into this bottom, but they're going to turn it and make it go to another grass strip over there. So what I've got to do, it's hard to see right now, but I'm going to put a block across right here when this water comes down, and I'm going to try to get my dirt out of this pasture and cut this hump out, and so the water will go on there instead of coming back and going across this field for a mile down that way. So first I dug up some fence posts. I got the wire out over the weekend, and I dug them fence posts up, but it gets pretty wild down here on this old creek bottom, and when it gets out it floods everything. But I think it drops off over here enough where I can get this thing out of here. I wanted to knock down a few of these trees where I can set my level up. I want that block to go across there. Then I've got to cut this hump out, and I'll build my block with this hump, and then that water, it might go into the field just a little bit, but it's going to come right back this way. I think it looks like it drops enough over here. I can get this out of here. Got a few mesquite trees, and looks like china berries down in here. But I'm hoping I can dump it right down in this flat place before it gets to the creek. They said the creek's not very far from here, so and I hope it don't try to get, I don't think it'll try to get back up in the field. It looks like this is quite a bit lower down here. Yeah, if I can get it, dump it right in here, it should just go on to that creek. I believe that creek's over just a little ways. I think that field's high enough. Once you get down here, it won't ever try to go back into that field. I believe we can get it in right here. That almost looks like that water's running back this other way, but we're just getting down here and standing. Because we're definitely in the hole right now, and it's high all the way around us. Well, we'll just have to get it cleared where I can see with that level, and that'll tell us. I know that's high over there next to that field. Well, that wind's not blowing a bit down here in these trees. Now that's one big chinaberry tree there. Usually don't see them that big. You see them all little old bitty things, but that one's kind of made a spot for itself here. Well, I'm getting the dozer and clear us a spot through here where we can set the level up, so we'll let y'all see that here in a bit. Anyway, got all the trees knocked down. Them Chinaberry trees, there's just nothing below the ground holding them in the ground. They're just, when they grow in a bunch, I guess they kind of hold each other up. You probably seen as dry as that ground was, you just hit them, they just pull themselves out of the ground. There's so much above the ground, so little below the ground and so much above the ground, and you can't hardly grub them because they stick a grubber up when you try to grub them. The fastest way to clear them is with a blade like we did, and if the ground's got a lot of moisture in them, when they get thick like that, you can knock one down, and when it falls, it knocks the other one down. So now that great big one had some stump under it, but them other ones are just not much at all. I mean, if they was out by themselves, the wind would blow them over, but I guess that's why they grow in such a clump like that. They kind of hold each other up. But anyway, got all that cleared off and did a little bit of elevation shooting. I'm going to have to take about probably 1.5 feet or so through this hill here, average for 150 foot, and I'll just push it out there, and my block will be where them flags, 2 flags are, and then this ribbon, my block will tie into here, and all this here will be channel to get this water out of this field here and get it down here. And right down between that flag there and the ribbon, I can zero out. That's plenty low. That'll drain, keep everything out of the field. But then it does get high trying to get off in that creek bottom, so I'm going to have to, once I get it down to this flat spot where that ribbon is, I went ahead and kind of knocked it down where I could see over there. I want to dig a little bit out down there, about 100 or 200 foot, probably 1/2 foot to 1 foot, and there's a little spot I can dump it. I could go straight with it, but then it would be awful steep and it might cause a wash, and what's one thing you don't want to ever do is fix one problem and cause another one. So, but you can see here that hump right there, it's got to come out of there, and I want it to at least be 10 foot to 15 foot wide in the bottom of my cut. So I'll cut all of that out and then get it down, and I'll just back up here and start cutting and turning and shoving that dirt out there in that field and start making that block. So I may have to rip it up. There's a few mesquite, now these are mesquite roots and stuff that are left in the ground. They're not like them Chinaberries, they just pulled plumb out. So anyway, we'll set up the camera and on time lapse and let you see some of that. Try to pick a shady spot or it won't last long at all out in the sun. So we'll let y'all see some of that as we're cutting it out. Well, it was kind of dusty, but it looks pretty good. I'm fixing to set up the level. Let that tell the tale. At least you can stand up here and look up and see the field. So all indications it's coming downhill. Sure was dusty enough. I'm gonna turn this camera off and let it cool off a little bit. That rascal's hot. Looks pretty good looking back that way. We'll let you cool down for a little bit, then we'll turn it back on. enough, landowner come by and said he could run over here with his little drag bucket. He's got it in the field here. Touch it up if it needs it. So I said, good. So I did a little bit more cutting and stuff. And I doubt if as dusty as it was, I don't know if y'all seen the finished product or not. So I'll drive down it and let you see it as we go out. I've got the dozer loaded down with my level and everything. And I'm gonna head to the pickup. This worked better than I thought. It just had to rip it and cut it, push it into the wind. It's hard to see what in the world you're doing. Got a good place for it to dump over here and everything. It's pretty flat. I mean, considering you're going off of the creek bank. Plenty of grass. It's dead though, but plenty of grass and brush at the end of it where it's not going to wash if and when it does rain. So this is where it does, and it'll just go off down there in them trees. I don't know exactly where the creek is. I can't see it from here, so it may be a little bit farther down there, but that's where it's going to wind up anyways. Excuse the inside of my dozer. There's dirt everywhere, dust everywhere. Last few jobs, it's been like this. You can't keep it all out. I'm going to blow everything out in the morning before I start. I bet the air cleaner's probably about full. So. It seems like I push into the wind every day. I don't know. Out of the east today, and I was pushing it into the wind. I think it follows me around and turns when it sees what direction I'm going to be pushing stuff. So. That ought to be enough to turn that water going it through the field and kick it off in here. So if I hadn't cut this back end out like I did, it would have went right back in the field again. So I had to extend what I was going to do. I was going to stop it here where we started cutting again, but it would have been back in the field if I hadn't. So. Over there, I don't know. I see the red pickup and I see 2 John Deere tractors, so that's where we're headed. Going to shut it down. So appreciate y'all watching this channel and everything. If you haven't subscribed, wish you'd do that. Like always, enjoy your comments and your feedback on everything. I'll try to get that answered. Got any questions? Hit the like button, share it with all your friends. So, until the next video or little project we do, remember, keep your blade shining, your tracks clean. Bye.